All right, cool. Well, then I think we're ready to get started. Off the cuff, we're just gonna go ahead and go. Caleb, give us a recap.
Recap. Well, we gosh, so the last session started after we finished drinking and the successful conquest of Kluroki. We went back out to the ships and a guard was murdered by the wind. So we made like the wind and went away back to the ship where we slept. And then we investigated Tulu's lead from the halfling farmers whose names he immediately forgot. And we went to the stumbling tump and gave the note to the bartender who immediately started sweating and eventually revealed that the note directed us to meet an eldritch horror in his attic, hidden behind a bunch of mirrors, who we chatted with. I was not a very affable fellow, or perhaps I should say was not very charismatic. He was plenty affable, and we were like, hey, we'd like to help you out. And he said, if you want to help me out, give this key to this other dude. We went, gave the key to the other dude. He was rude. We came back, and we were a little standoffish with each other, um, with us and the Eldritch Abomination. And then the session ended, I think. It
Yep,
ended with us being completely confident we knew what we wanted to do next.
correct. Having been revealed that there was a treaty made some 23 years, or last amended some 23 years ago, a treaty of the Free Isles that has great meaning to this eldritch creature, as you describe him. Um, Fagrin has asked if there are any other allies that would have the same common goal. He gave you the name of Argusto, was someone that has traveled to Solid many times. He also said that because Tulu was asking about the double fruits and what was going on there, he informed you that a character named Leblanc is one who commercialized the distributing of the double fruits. Um, but yeah, you guys are just in the streets of Oddity Alley, just outside the Tumbling Stump, and I almost said the wrong way. Thanks to you, Caleb. I might just change the name to that. Like move like the S on the sign literally just falls down and is the other way. Um, but yeah, so you guys are just staying there. Just after midday, I think maybe you guys might be getting a little hungry, a little peckish, as it's about midday and you haven't eaten. But other than that, there's not really much.
Any food trucks? Apple
Any
carts?
You can smell a fragrance of cheese and butters coming from down the street.
I
But
like cheese.
from where you are, this looks like mostly shops. But you do know from Toulouse scouting yesterday or earlier today that there are some kiosks at the end of the alley.
I wonder if there are double fruits for sale around here. I feel like we should investigate those. And also, we could use the vitamin C.
If it's one of their main exports, they probably have them for sale. We'll go take a look.
Hey, aren't those purple things that they talk about? Aren't they purple? The fruit?
I don't remember them being purple. I haven't seen one.
In my imagination, they were always blue.
Okay. Blue, purple.
Well,
But I
let's
don't
go
think we've
find out.
seen them, so it's kind of a moot point.
Well, let's go find out. Purple.
Double fruits on me.
As you guys head down the street kind of narrows into a semicircle alcove cut into this cliffside. Kind of like Helm's Deep is like built into this mountainside. The way that the city of Deepstone is, the deeper into the city you go, the more you become in these dwarvish tunnels and outcroppings that have been carved out of the mountainsides. So once you kind of make your way in, you're kind of in the shade of some cliff facing. You can see lots of different little kiosks and vendors. You see a couple people peddling flowers. You see this large orc wearing a fishnet shirt that is a size too small, and he has these two long, big earrings that look like seashells with little jewels on them. He is handing out these large, like, blocks and wheels of cheese to people. Oh, which is what was causing the smell. You also see some person that looks like a fence for selling weaponry. You can see over here is what looks like furs and pelts, but he also has meats hanging that have been dried. Some look like they've even been smoked, marinated, and then smoked over and like hung. So like there are jerkies and stuff like that too. But you've got all these meats. So basically, you got a meat stand over here, you got a cheese stand over there. But that's what you have in the main area is a couple of vendors, flowers, weapons, cheese, and meats and furs.
And we don't see any
Five
potential
fruits.
fruits.
Nope, no fruits from here.
All right.
Well, I want to walk up to one of the vendors.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter which one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go. Hey, we've been hearing about this double fruit all over the place. Where can we find some of that fruit
I would
around here?
like to steer him towards the orc dressed like a prostitute.
All right. So he starts asking one of these halflings this at the weapon thing, and then you turn him, and the orc's like, "Oh, what we been having? Got some nice provolone here. I mean, want some of this mozzarella?" And he just hands you like a sample size.
Like on a
A fruit?
toothpick.
It's more than this is like a fist size amount of cheese,
An
but for him
orc,
it's the same
orc
size.
sample.
Yes, an orc
Man, I
sample.
dig this place.
Well, hey, well, but do you know where we can find some of that fruit y'all make on this island?
The double fruits?
Yeah.
No, we don't have the licensing for the double fruits. Too
Where-
expensive.
Where would I go to get some then?
Maybe at Morrissey's place on the dock. The Busy Beaver. He's the only one that can afford them.
Why are they so expensive?
Well, they've been having trouble. I guess their yields have been smaller than average.
Aye, I think we'd heard that.
Right.
Well, your cheese smells delicious. I'll take a round of provolone.
I have a philosophical question for you. Do you have Swiss cheese?
You mean this cheese? And he holds up this cheese that's white and porous, and kind of crumbly. He goes, "We call this Old Missus."
That answers my philosophical question. I'd like some of that, please.
Oh, that's even better.
Well, for you, sir, he looks at you, Faker, and he's like, that'd be 2 coins, and for you, that'd be 1.
I hand him 2 copper coins.
Oh,
You have-
copper.
You have copper?
He dies.
Oh, let me. Oh, wait, no, I don't have copper. That's what it is. Everybody's messing with us here. Let me see what I got.
I will give
I
him
think you
1
got-
token.
Yeah, you got a coin that is basically a substitute for copper, because apparently copper is very bad for the city.
We have bills. I give him 2 silver pieces.
Fine, here. And he grabs and he huffs up this crate. This crate weighs like 20 pounds. It's like a crate filled with cheese. Like it looks like the cheese is like poured into the crate and then set into it, and you have to actually like crack the crate apart to get to the cheese because it's like been sealed up. But he hands you this 25-pound massive crate of cheese, and he goes, "You folks from off the island then?"
Yes.
I have a little spending money. Well, thank you. That's mighty kind. You can see the halfling vendor next to him, kind of scowling, and he's like, "You always get the good business." And he's like, "It's not my fault. I'm just a very popular person, and I have." And he's like trying to defend himself, and he holds up some of his samples, and he's like, "I mean, you smell this?" And he's like, "Yes, of course I smell it. You can't get away from it." And then the little halfling kind of comes out from behind his kiosk and goes, "Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you guys. My name's Danlin."
Oh, hello, Dan. And we are, you may have heard of us. We're the Crimson Skipadoos.
"Oh, I don't think you guys are. I heard about them. They're a lot bigger than you and pretty powerful. I heard one of them
Talking
can run
about
up
our
walls."
size.
Well, I'd imagine. And he looks over, and the orc's just like kind of like what the heck, dude? He's like, "Oh well, guys, I just look, you have coin, I have wares. How about you come take a look at what I got? I'm just saying, blood skippers or not, I think you find what you're looking for over here."
What do you got? Now look.
He's got this little display case with four little daggers in it. One of them looks like a decent dagger. The other one looks a little worn down and used. The other two are pretty nondescript. He has this rack that he pulls down from the top of his little roof of his kiosk. It has a bunch of belts on it. This belt has like a holster. Another belt has these tassels on it. And he goes, "See these here?" And he holds it up to like these little tassels with like hairs on them. He goes, "These are the hairs of a manticore. Pretty lucky stuff. Get your hands on this, and blood skippers or not, you'll be the fastest people around."
How much would that run us for?
Well, from folks like you, I'd say maybe 4 coins.
You know what? I feel a need. A need for speed. I'll take those manticore belt.
He takes it off, rolls it up, puts a little ribbon and ties the ribbon around it to make it nice and tight. And he goes, "All right," and he like, holds it up and holds out his hand. Goes, uh, "You guys really all the blood skippers?"
Unless that's bad, then no, you've never seen us. And I'll hand him my 4 tokens.
He takes the tokens and he kind of feels them, checks out they're legit, puts them in his pouch. He goes, "Well, no disrespect, but not what I expected. I say champions beat the screaming demons, the 12-year running champions. I mean, that's quite the feat. In fact, a lot of the dwarves here in town are a little upset. Most of them bet money on that team every year. It's a sure thing. I mean, 12 years running. You imagine some people have built their livelihoods betting on that team. So I imagine that they're quite upset. So if I were you, I wouldn't be bringing up any dwarves. But me, I don't care. It's no sweat on my back. I don't have the money to spend on chance. What about you, Lizard Boy? You gonna buy anything?"
He just kind of grumbles at the lizard boy comment, and then he asks, "How much for basically the best looking dagger and then the belt with the holster?"
Oh,
Does the holster look like it would fit the dagger?
yeah. It's
Okay.
a very simple like leather band. Like you could really put anything in it. So
All right, then yeah, then I ask for that. Like, for
he takes it and he double checks to make sure that it fit. And he's like, "Oh yeah, what a set! That looks like it was made for you. Go ahead, try that on. Try it on.
how much is it?
You have to see what it feels like. I'm not going to try to rip you off. You put it on and tell me how it feels."
All right, I do that.
You put it on. He kind of like sits back, looks at you. He looks over at Floki and he's like, "Well, what do you think?"
What do I think? I'll put it on and kind of awkwardly, like, hold up my pants while I'm changing belts.
No, not you. I'm just saying, why does it look like I'm him?
I apologize. I was totally looking at a different page and someone said my name.
Oh, it's okay. I think for you, two, 2 coins. I mean, one for the blade and one for the belt.
I give him a silver since that's the lowest
Oh,
I have.
oh, wow. Thank you. He takes it and folds it away. Kind of like does like a little side eye at the orc. And he's like, "Oh, what about you, fine fellow?" He points over at Tulu.
Nah, I'm good. I'm happy. I don't need anything, I don't think. Unless you got something that you think I need, which I
I
don't
mean,
really think I need anything, but you know.
all due respect, your boots rate terribly bad. I think you could do with a new pair. And he roots under his little kiosk out of this little cabinet and pulls out a set of boots. They look like simple gnomish boots. They have a brownish red leather, these large buckles on them. And it's like, these are the best wares you could find around here. These have been imported all the way from Lucina.
Well, but what am I going to do with the boots I got on then?
I mean, I toss them. Those are terribly smelly.
Well, are the boots that he's trying to offer me, do they look pretty?
I mean, they look pretty plain. They're not like fancy boots, but they look good.
How much you want for them? I'm just trying to be nice.
Well, 3 coins.
Ooh, I don't, I don't have that kind of
One
money.
coin.
So
1 coin. That's all I need. Just 1 coin.
one. Oh, man. Okay, here you go. I'll hand him one.
What do you hand him?
I get 1 silver.
1 silver. He takes it. And he goes, you folks, you don't forget the name Danlin. And he writes it down on a piece of paper. He just writes Danlin's wares on it. And he folds it and he hands it to Fagrin. And he goes, "You blood skippers are ever back, I'll make sure I stock up on the best things around."
Well, thank you, Dan. And, when you ask for a coin, you always act surprised. What coin you looking for?
Oh, well, I mean, the city kind of takes any of our actual metal coins. So we just, don't specify. We don't try to judge people what they have in their pockets, but he holds up the tokens that you guys gave him. And he goes, "These here are what most people can have. We don't have access to much more than that."
Oh, he shows us the bills?
They're like waxy.
Coins that we got substituted in when you guys got in.
Oh, I
They're not
thought
like
we
a
had
bill, like a paper bill. They're like a substitute coin.
Oh, okay.
They're fake coins.
Like an arcade. You know?
Yep.
You know, we got
And one is worth, or 10 of those are worth 1 silver. So when,
Yeah.
when you throw down silver, you're overpaying the crap out of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I know, but like I don't have any copper. I gave all my copper to Tulu.
This is like what happens when I go to Mexico or like a third world country. Everybody's like, "Whoa! I ain't never seen a dollar before." Like you give them like $1 and they're like, "Shit, $1? Holy crap, man! Come on." Yeah, all right. Well, I can't break it. Let's take it.
Hey, and at any point when I reach in my purse and to get a coin here or there, if I ever realize I have copper coins, let me know. Because I don't know.
You noticed then when you grabbed.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh, what? I start looking around. You guys? What? Well, I'll tell you something in a minute, a secret, but we can't talk about it here.
This makes me sad too. What's going on with the economy here? I don't know. We don't know.
The
Everyone's
copper
broke.
coins, no, they explained it. Copper coins react to a substance that is
No, we know
common
that.
here.
But why won't they take
Oh, yeah.
like a bunch of coins, right? Like if, like an equivalent amount. Well, I guess for cheese probably would just be a few copper. So paying silver for something is really overpaying. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Like you just bought some normal boots, and I got a gigantic block of cheese
Yeah.
or a barrel of cheese or
I
something, which I
actually
put in
think
my
that that's,
inventory.
I think that's a pretty good value for creative cheese.
Yeah, it is really good. It's a really good deal. I haven't checked the cheese, but
Well, what brings champions like you to the Isles? Other than, I mean, we don't really have much here. Deepstone.
Well, adventure and conquest. Same things that motivate anyone.
Conquest.
You have to excuse this guy here, my buddy Floki. He makes up these words that I don't understand all the time. I don't know what he's talking about when he talks about conquest.
It's like questing. That's the root word.
except doing it in a bad way, right? Quest.
Good, bad, different tools for different situations. Different strokes for different folks. Sometimes you gotta quest. Sometimes you gotta request. Sometimes you gotta conquest.
Inquest.
There's probably other. I'm losing my grasp of the English language all of a sudden. So that's your spiel for today.
Does it look like I can crack open my cheese crate, or is it like
It's
kind of difficult to do?
It wouldn't be difficult, but it would be the equivalent of like opening a bag of flour, and now your bag of flour is open and like torn and like wait, like you know what I mean? Like once you open it, it's gonna be, you can't really recontain it. Like it's like a use it or lose it situation.
Damn.
Do you guys want to like sit down and chow down some
Yeah,
cheese?
I can't eat 25 pounds of cheese.
I mean, there's a couple of you
not
guys.
with that attitude.
This is true.
Yeah, I guess we do need to eat sometime.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
got a crew. We can just like head back to the ship and go, good news, everyone.
Yeah.
Cheese for supper.
Okay. Well, I'll just carry it with me, but we need food, so we need to find.
Let's go to the meat vendor. I want a kebab of something.
All right, you head over. You can see this kind of burly lady who has this really curly black hair that's pulled back, and her jawline is really profound. She has this tattoo on her arm that looks like an alligator of sorts, but it has like these four heads that kind of come down to her like forearm. She's got like a cleaver, and she's just like slapping away at this large ham that she has on her chopping block. But the meats over here, they don't smell great because you can see behind her she has like raw hides that are literally like tanning like right there, so it kind of smells really acidic and almost like a urine-ish smell. So it's not really that great of a smell, but the meats do look great. She's got what looks like some smaller game, maybe like a squirrel or like a rabbit or something. She's got several of those, a couple pheasants over here, and this large ham that she's chopping up. And she goes, "Oh, didn't spend all of your coins then?" And she puts it down. She goes, and like wipes off like blood and lard that's like been caked on her hand. She holds her hand. She goes, "Name's Jade. Hopefully we can do some business."
Oh, wow. This is my kind of woman. Jade. Captain Fagrin Fairharbor. And I hold her hand and I like bow as I hold it.
All right, it almost slips out of your hand as you bend down because it's slick with all the grease and grime that's on it. She looks flattered though. She kind of takes a half step back and she goes, "Only the meats and furs are for sale today. All due respect, Captain."
Oh no. You misunderstand me. Well, anyways. Yes. Do you have anything that we could take on the go and just sample a little bit?
Nothing's free. She kind of gives you a side eye, and she chops down some of her smaller game, and holds it up, and it basically looks like a roasted like a rabbit from what you can tell. She holds it up and she goes, "This is the cheapest one I got.
How much is that?
A coin."
A coin. Well, how about, and I give her 1 silver piece, and I'm like, we'll take 10 of those or whatever you have that to do the equivalent to that.
She looks at her. She's got like 4 hanging, and she looks at her ham, and she's like, "I'm not gonna shortchange you." She goes over, she grabs the ham, and she slaps the ham down. She's like, "On the house."
She slaps the ham down, and Fagrin's like,
Yeah.
oh, and like swoons a little bit.
You're gonna take an inspiration for that. She slaps it. She slaps it down and takes the silver, and she goes, "Man, folks as rich as you coming all the way down here with the money still in your pocket. That's pretty rare. Usually, folks don't make it past that tree before their pockets are empty."
Well, why is that?
She just points down the alleyway, and like as she does, you can see people just walking up and down the alleyway and like going into these shops and stuff. And she goes, "Well, other people have better goods, better wares, and more interesting things."
So wait, finding the snot monster, we ended up like on the bad part of town, and we just didn't even pay attention.
No, so the smell of the cheese kind of led you to the end of the alley. So the alley starts out with a choke point at the bank and goes down. The tree's in the center, and then beyond the tree, there's a few more shops and buildings until the street kind of ends at a dead end underneath this cliff facing. So you guys are kind of
the left main street.
yeah, you guys are just at the end of Oddity Alley. So she's like, by the time people get all the way down here, their pockets are empty.
Oh, okay. Location is everything. But we'd still like some meat. Does this meat look edible, though?
Oh yeah, it looks great.
Okay, so yeah, give her a silver piece and
But
divvy
it
up the
probably
meat.
smells like a tannery, so it may kill us.
We need something to
not-
wash it down with, too.
She kind of looks around, pulls up this clear liquid in a bottle that has been outside its entire life, just like completely caked in like dirt, and she like sniffs it, and she's like, "Sorry, I can't help you there. Darn, I wish I would have kept that last sip of. The tree is a tavern too."
Aye. We'll head back there and wash everything down. Okay, so it sounds like we're going to have to eat food and then, like, go to the bookstore, swing by and get something to drink.
I mean, you have water skins on you, so I mean, if you want,
Yeah, I'll just do that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Or we could go back, get some alcohol, you know.
You guys can
We're not going to be in
meander around.
danger today.
I've heard of this, and I've tried it in real life, this, like, method of taking water and adding just a little bit of wine or a little bit of, like, a hard liquor to try to sanitize it. I put that in my water skin. It works okay. Actually put it in this.
I use gratuitous quantities of caffeine for that.
But yeah, you got this big honking slab of ham and a big block of cheese. Got all the food you could want to buy it amongst yourselves.
We're eating it as we go. Let's head to the bookstore and just eating.
right. Head back to the bookstore.
It's clean.
You guys make your way over to this building. At the window, it says Beams and Blazes, and it has lots of books on display, but not from like the spine of the book, but actually like opened and on like pedestals, showing the script. Basically, you can see there are different books in different languages, and they're trying to advertise that they have different languages. Once you step inside, though, we are going to do this.
Oh,
Yes, ha ha ha. Once you step inside, the musty smell of old books and ink catches your noses as you walk in. The floorboards kind of creak as you guys step in. The room is well lit with lots of sunlight that is pouring in. But from what you can see as you walk in, there are these massive, well, not massive, but these tall, about 10-foot tall bookshelves that kind of fill the room, from what you can tell. And you hear the faint sound of a conversation in the distance. You can also see a doorway over here in the corner.
Hey, Floki,
Yes.
see if there's anything magical in here. Can you do?
How?
I don't know. I figured you could do. Well, no, I forgot you can't do everything because you couldn't read that note the other day. But I thought you
Yeah,
could.
yeah. I'm only a warlock. I'm not. It's not like I'm an actual real spellcaster. I'm just
Oh,
kind of weird.
Halfway spellcaster.
okay.
Okay, Tulu has no idea what that means. He's like,
Yeah, he
okay.
does. He's like, I don't know.
It-
Sure.
it's just kind of like, I mean, usually when things are magic, it's like I can't do a lot of things. I'm not going to devote energy to finding out whether things are magic. If they're magic, it usually makes itself known to you. You know, like it attempts to stab you or something. It
But to be fair, not even non-magical stuff can attempt to stab you.
Yes, but in either case, it's not that important whether or not it's magical. The stabbing is the important part, you know? And so I'm a little more inclined to deal with stabbing.
Can I cast detect magic?
Yes,
And
you
you?
can.
I can.
If you have the spell, yeah.
I'd cast detect magic. There's
All
magic
right.
within 30 feet of me. I know of it.
Within 30 feet. Hang on a second. I have to figure it out.
See, he's an actual spellcaster. You can tell because of the armor and the weapons and the shield.
It's crazy.
So you cast it from the doorway?
I'm gonna go into the room a little bit. I'm gonna go to like here-ish, a little bit in
Okay.
front of the door before doing it. Try and get as much of the room as possible.
Okay. You do sense detect, like when you cast detect magic, it also lets you know the school of magic, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
There's a magic, and you learn the school of magic.
Okay. You sense that it's not in the room, but you do sense powerful transmutation magic coming from beyond the wall in front of you. And off to the distance, you can also sense powerful divination magic. But from where you are now, these look like mundane books.
I relay that information to Tulu as well as the rest of the group.
Oh, cool. So, huh? Does the wall to the south look solid?
Yeah, it looks like a solid wall. But there is a doorway over here. Would be to your left.
Well,
To the
first,
doorway.
I'm going to
Ah,
walk down
it's a
here
grid.
and walk towards the doorway, but rub my hand on the wall the whole way.
All right. As you do, it makes it a faint sound as your fingertips run along the wooden chiplap that makes up the wall. You guys peek through the doorway here. You see another little antechamber with the door that hangs open. You can see yet another little bookshelf, and you can see this large orange cat. I say large; he's probably like raccoon size. This cat kind of just looks up at you, licks its paw a bit, and then just kind of just takes a couple steps and takes another seat on the floor. There's an additional door on this wall as well.
And I am going to.
Cautiously approach the cat to pet it.
It just kind of looks at you as you approach.
Cat, I am looking for your best book restoration expert.
The cat just like licks its hand.
Rat.
I speak with small animals. Being a
Okay.
forest now. And
Alright.
I say, pretty kitty, pretty kitty. Where's the master? Where's the owner of this tavern or of this store?
I have a name,
What's your name?
Butter.
Butter. That's awesome.
And it like licks his hand again.
So are you the owner of this place?
No. I should be though.
Where's the owner?
He just kind of looks at the door.
Okay. Can we go in there?
Knock yourself out. And he just walks over here and then just lays down.
Sounds like a cat.
Yeah, that was
I tell
A
everybody
plus cat role playing.
I
Thank
was
you.
like, I tell everybody that cat, he's just a regular cat, but he said the owner's down here to the south. But what's over in the bookcase? Do we see anything?
When you look in the bookcase, it seems to be lots of books about herbology, different books that depict greenery, flowers, and trees and things of that nature. Lots of books about agriculture. It has it's like are you gonna actually start browsing through them?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd also like to browse if there's
All
about
right.
herbology for any like healing or like books about healing herbs and whatnot.
All right. You pick the first book. Actually, both of you give me investigation checks.
Oh dear.
I was so focused on not having too many rolls tonight that I almost forgot to do one when I needed to.
That's a 19.
Okay.
8.
All right. To the first one that you pick up depicts lots of different flowers. Some of them that you recognize, like common cotton, lavender, and things like that. But some of them look really complicated. But it basically starts giving you information of how much clay they need, or how much silt they need, or how much sand they need. Different soil textures to make the flowers grow properly. And it's actually kind of boring school work is what it looks like as you kind of flip through it. Extremely boring to Tulu. Maybe a little interesting because it has pictures here and there. But that's what you find as you're flipping through. Um, Kluroki, you were looking for an herbology healer kind of thing?
Yeah, like a book just about healing herbs and stuff like that, or like yeah.
Right. You find uh, a book that is like really heavy when you pick it up. But when you pick up the pages, they're like razor thin. The pages are so thin that you can actually look through them. Like you hold it up to the light in the corner. And when you do, it reveals additional information within the page. So as you're looking at the page originally, the book is titled um, uh, hang on, Antidotes and Antipoisons. And as you hold up the picture, it starts to give you recipes, and then there are instructions when you hold it up, like detailed, minute instructions of how to craft anti poisons, and antidotes.
I'd like to just like keep the book and see if I can't buy it when we find the owner.
Yeah, I will say that with the 19, you also notice the price tag on the back, and it says 37 gold.
You know what? I think it
Um,
might be worth it.
Floki, as you walk into the next room, you can see yet another bookcase, but this one has these heavy chains that kind of dangle in front of it. I say dangle, they're not like taut, but they are connected at the top and the bottom of this bookshelf, and they glow a faint blue that you recognize these chains to be very similar to the ones that are holding the needle back together. There's also a large pedestal in the center of the room where there's this glowing green orb that has this like faint green mist on it that kind of dissipates around the room. And there is another doorway there where you are standing.
I would like to enter that doorway.
Um, I'm assuming this is where I sense the divination magic.
Yeah, you're pretty certain.
Yeah, just let the rest of the group know that.
As you guys kind of walk through this doorway, the cat kind of comes up and meets you guys. Kind of just like it rubs up against your legs.
I pet the cat.
You do give me a dexterity saving throw.
Never pet a cat on a first date.
That's a 8.
An 8. You're gonna take 1 slashing damage as it swipes at you.
I glare at the cat.
And then he starts laughing.
It just glares back at you. As you guys continue into here, you can hear the faint conversation get a little bit louder, and you can overhear conversation that starts out something like this. It says, "The boy's right. Well, we don't have much more time. Boss is getting angry. I'm working as fast as I can. I have very limited resources. You don't understand." And you hear a very younger voice call off, and he says, I lost my page. Because what does it say? He says, "No, Tank's correct. We will we will give you one more day. But then it's out of our hands too.
Carl, you're being too generous. We have to act on this now. Boss says we don't have even a day.
No, listen, Quill, you've been nice to us up to this point. Floki, as you step into the room, give me a stealth check if you don't want to be.
Absolutely not trying to stealth.
Okay.
Just like knocking on the bookcase, trying to be like, hi.
As
Let's
you
interrupt
do,
your shakedown, but I don't care.
as you do,
You hear, shush, someone here. Carl, let's go.
and with that, you see a bright blue flash. At the exact same time, you happen to notice the cat bumps up against the chains of this bookshelf, and a scroll falls out of it, opens up, and begins to glow brightly. Both of these figures disappear, and then all around the room, these things start to pour out of the scroll. These little balls look like made of iron begin to like roll about the room. Everywhere you look. Hang on. This is what I want to do. There we go. And nope. Nope, I gotta do this. There we go. Roll 20. There we go. All these little things begin to roll around the room. What you can see, they look odd, but they begin to stand up on their own and begin to start pouring this liquid out onto the floor and onto the books around you. We would roll for initiative, but we already did preemptively.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
I must have been gone for that. I apologize.
We rolled last time, remember? We
Oh,
never used-
last time? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I forgot that we're still using that initiative. My
I
bad.
mean, we totally could roll new initiative. That'd be totally fine.
Nope, we're not going to.
Oh,
As these things begin to pour stuff all around, you hear this creature call out, and he says,
No, we have to stop them. They're going to ruin all of my merchandise.
as these creatures begin to go around and pouring liquid on
All
books.
right, kill the beer.
oh dear.
They
Beer
actually
monsters.
are going to act first.
No.
Stupid beer monsters.
Sadly. A bunch of them scurry around to Floki. 3 of them are going to make their attacks on Floki. One of them is going to hit Floki. Floki, you're going to take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as one of them literally just like stomps on your toe in between, like
Ow.
under your boot. You feel it. The rest of them seem to all just like be coming up to like the bookshelves and just like dumping themselves, like just ruining stuff. Fagrin, you're the next to act.
I run to here and I pull out 2 pistols from my brace and I fire both of them at 2 of them. One with my
Nice.
main attack and one with extra attack.
Roll the hit.
Let's see. I did the thing. What was that? Oh, it did it, right? Oh, I put it with
Yeah.
advantage. I'll just take the lowest one. Is that okay?
Or you made 2 attacks. You can just have it be both attacks. That's
Oh,
fine.
yeah. Okay. And then I just need to roll 3d4. Okay. So if that's the case, then the first one would have been a 15 plus 7 is 22. I think.
Sure. I think you rolled
I'm
a 15
confused.
and a 27. That's okay though.
Wait, no, it's 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 to hit.
And a natural 20 for a 27.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So one of them did a 3d4 is 8, and the other one it had a crit, so it's got a 10. I mean,
So
it's a-
you absolutely obliterate the one next to you, and the one over here begins to limp and whimper. But you look to got its attention. It starts to scurry its little mechanical legs towards you. You have a bonus action or any movement you want to use?
Nope.
All right. That is Kluroki.
I'm going to run to here. I'm sure Floki can handle himself. And I'm going to start whacking at these guys with my war.
All right, go for it.
Morning Star. Sorry.
Roll
The first one is a nat 20
That will hit. I like how you guys are critting on these little things.
for a 13.
You just smash it. Absolutely smash it.
And then I believe I have a second attack, which would be a 23 to hit
Yes, that'll hit.
and 8 damage.
All right. It takes 8. Looks really whimpery. You weaken it. Some of the liquid starts to leak out of it. But it's not fully down. That will be Key's turn. If she's even here.
He should be here.
All right. Bring
I
your token
can't control her, but yeah, she should be somewhere. And yeah, shoot one of them, I guess.
All right, go ahead.
Let's see how attacks work. This button. It doesn't hit anything.
All right. Key shoots, misses, Floki.
Oh, it's my turn?
Mm-hmm.
All right, boys. Go big or go home. We're casting sleep.
All right. Sleep. What's the area on sleep?
20-foot sphere. 20
Alright.
within 20 feet of a point you choose. So 20 feet radius sphere.
Okay. So you want to point it like here.
I wanted to get everyone. That's the room.
Yep, that's the room. That's the room.
All right, baby. This will be great or do nothing. Let's find out how many things I'm rolling here. That's
Yeah.
a 2. That's a 1 up to a... goodness me. It's written so counterintuitively. There we go. Let's see here. Let's roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these things. Yeah, there you go, processor. You'll get it eventually. Wow, that's not a great roll. 26 hit points of sleep damage. It starts from the creature with the lowest number of hit points and goes up.
All right. That'd be this one. These things actually fall unconscious, like literally get turned off when sleep is cast on them. So those two first, and that was only 4. So how many is left? That's 23.
26 hit points of sleep damage.
So there we go. Oh, I just closed roll 20. Didn't want to do that. I don't know how that happened. Okay, there we go. That has been done. Now whose turn is it? Where's my turn counter? That's not what I want. Get out of there.
It's Tulu's turn.
Tulu's turn.
It is Tulu's turn.
And I end my turn.
His turn with a great initiative that he has. He's going to follow suit, and he's going
Wait,
to run
no,
in.
I don't end my turn. I would like to cross my arms and say, totally forgot what my one-liner was. You may continue.
Okay.
Tulu reaches in his backpack, pulls out his draconic wand made of deadwood or whatever it's called.
Leek wood, yeah.
What kind of wood? Leek wood?
Leek wood, yep.
Leek wood, yeah. And he casts sleep.
All right, where are you casting yours at?
What's a
I'm guessing you're doing it right here in the area to get the rest of them.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So you're gonna roll your is it 5d8?
That I don't know.
I believe the base spell is 5d8.
5d8. Well, 12. 16 plus 15. 31.
All right, I'm gonna. They all have the same from here on out. So these, I'm gonna say the ones around flow gear, the first ones to go down. That'd be those, and this one. That's sad, but that's what happens. That would be the end of your turn. That should be their turn next. So they are going to, the remaining ones, they're going to climb up on top of the shelves with all their movement, and then they're going to use their action to spray some liquids at you guys. To say, this one is going to aim for Clearkey. This one's also going to aim for Clearkey, but he's going to disadvantage because it's too far away. And this one's going to aim for Floki at disadvantage. Because this is just funny.
I just stare dumbfoundedly at them.
Disadvantage. They're both gonna miss, sadly. Only one of them hits. And wait, what's Floki's AC? Is it
14.
Okay, because he rolled a 15. So you are gonna get hit. Haha. You're gonna take 1 point of acid damage, and you are absolutely covered in like the sticky, alcoholic smelling, foamy stuff.
I would like to say, joke's on you. Sleep isn't the constant.
You're gonna gain an inspiration for that. Fagrin.
So they're on top of the bookshelf?
Yeah, they're on top of the bookshelves, just like jiggling and spilling alcohol all over.
Oh,
the
crap. Well, I'm going to try to... Are they more than 5 feet up in the air?
They are 8 feet up in the air.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, I'm going to run to here. And then can I climb as part of like difficult terrain, or what would that be?
I mean, I would just say it costs regular movement, and you only move 20 feet. So yeah, you can just climb up there.
Okay, and then I try to attack this one.
All right. What are you going to use to attack it? Because I imagine, like, at this point, you're like, are you going to stand up on it? And, like, what are you going to do? Because, like, I imagine the bookshelf is, like, maybe 8 inches wide. So,
Yeah, no, I take out, I drop the one pistol right here, and then I take out my rapier right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to swipe at it with your rapier. I'm going to have you roll an acrobatics check, see if you can keep yourself up there. The DC is 8.
All right, I think, okay.
Because I imagine you're, like, standing on a bookshelf. It's going to just take a little bit of poise.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, +3 is 9.
Okay, I'm gonna say you're gonna fall at the end of your turn, but you can make your attack at disadvantage.
I'm like definitely, yeah, I'm like balancing on this thing now, trying to fight these things.
Agron doesn't have his land legs, unfortunately.
I have missed that one, and then I have an extra attack.
All right, go for it.
And I use my inspiration.
All right.
And it still doesn't matter. And I'm like trying to swipe these things as the bookshelf is like going like this, and I'm like trying to hit them.
Yeah, you swipe at it.
It's making it worse. Beer's flying everywhere, all over the books.
Yeah, they're so low, and it's so slippery up here. I'm gonna say that's probably what it was. It was the kicker was there's liquids up here that just make you slip. So you'll fall down, and you'll take 2 bludgeoning damage as you fall on your right in your funny bone. That brings us back to Kuroki.
I'm going to attempt the same thing Fagrin did and jump up, except it's going to be like right here.
All right.
Shelf.
All right, so you're up there. How are you gonna attack them?
With my what's it called? Morning Star. Just start whacking at them.
Go ahead and roll your acrobatics check first.
Acrobatics. That's a 9.
Well, 9 beats an 8, so you're able to stay up there. Go ahead and roll a regular attack to him.
All right. The first one is a 17 to hit
That will definitely hit.
for 10 damage.
You knock this tankard. It like hits the wall and like shatters, spraying more of its liquids on the wall. It is dead. Absolutely.
The second one is an 18 to hit
That will hit.
For 4 damage.
All right. It looks weakened as you take one of its tiny little mechanical arms off, but it's not down yet. Key.
She's gonna shoot one.
All right. Roll the hit.
Boy, I have that right here.
Right.
All right. 24 to hit.
That will definitely hit.
It takes 1 damage.
Alright,
Didn't
and-
you get some poison arrows or something?
And
The arrows are always poison.
Oh, okay, my bad.
It rolled a 14 on its con save.
Then it remains poison.
All right. Still up. That is Floki's turn.
All right. Look at me. I'm me. Let's move around a little bit to, let's say, right here. And then I would like to Eldritch Blast the remaining fiends.
All right, go for
I
it.
get 2 of those.
Yep.
All right, let's see. I got buttons. Ignore this. It's got an extra plus thing, which doesn't probably help unless a 10 hits.
10 does not hit.
In that case, I attempt to shoot again and do better this time with an 18.
All right, so you fire the first time. It like goes wild, hits the like a rafter that's holding up part of the ceiling, and part of the rafter just goes out of it. You hear the shopkeeper just like, "Oh no, be careful!" And then you fire your other one, and it knocks the tankard off, and you hear a tink as it falls off, and then like crashes. It like lands next to Fagrin and kind of shatters and spills this foamy liquid next to Fagrin's head.
All right, and then I would like to point my wand at the remaining beer and say, "This is your last chance to surrender."
It stops and pivots, and then you see it shake, and like foam just like starts to billow out of it. You get, almost as if it's angry. Tulu, that's your turn.
No one likes a frothy beer.
How far is it to that? He can't run and grab it. Okay, he was gonna tackle it. He's going to cast frostbite on it.
All right, what's the range?
But he's going to be careful in his aiming. He's going to actually try to aim a little high so that he doesn't hit any of the books.
Okay. All right, go ahead and roll a hit. Or is it a con save?
Oh, it's a save. Daggone it,
Okay.
I rolled good. I rolled good too.
Well, that's good. I need that roll anyway. So it fails the con save.
Okay.
And what'd you roll the hit?
16.
Then yeah, you actually aimed it perfectly. Where you cast the spell upward, and as the cold air condensates, it billows downward exactly on top of this creature,
Oh,
and it fails.
9.
9. You watch as it just like freezes solid, and then tumples over, and is dealt with.
And I say, cold beer, anybody?
Great.
Nice.
You get an inspiration for that.
I go pick up my pistol.
Okay. As you,
I'll pick up 2 of the animated beers and hand one to Kleroki.
Oh, nice.
I will jump down and then attempt to drink the beer.
I
Right.
start laughing, and I tell Fagrin, I say, they smell like they did the other night coming out of that tavern, don't they? Talking about Floki and Kleroki.
Well, as much as I'd like to have a good time with this beer, I want to find out what did this. And I turn to the person that presumably owns the shop, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Who caused this?"
you can see them holding up like a piece of their clothing, almost like a skirt that kind of billows away. They're kind of holding it upwards. They kind of tiptoe towards you throughout the mess. Says, "Oh, this is awful, terrible. I'm sorry. My shop is usually much tidier than this. I promise you. This is very irregular, very unordinary day I've been having."
What was that conversation about?
What conversation?
Aye, yes, what conversation? Yes, and then the mechanical beer started flying around. Listen, We're the Twilight Revenge Company, and we help people with problems. For a small fee, of course. But we're effective most of the time.
So you have the ability then to remove certain pests,
And you see him kind of scowl down the hall at the cat who is like clawing at this magic scroll. Says, Butter does have the tendencies to cause mayhem from time to time.
I could tell. I sensed that in it.
Then you have the eyes of the ruse then.
Yes, something like that. Hey,
Uh,
do you offer book repair services?
It would depend on the book in question.
Well, I happen to be in possession of a book, which is in what might be called, credibly, the worst possible condition a book can be in while still being legible.
That sounds terrible, but as long as it's not what's the word I'm looking for? A terribly outlawed book, then it should be fine.
Well, hopefully, you don't speak the language it's written in, which would make this a lot easier. But I could either use the book repaired or its information transcribed onto a new book. The existing text isn't necessary. And I'd be willing to pay quite well if you're good at it.
Well, we could let me get started. You have this specimen in hand?
Yes, I do. Do you have a surface that isn't stained in alcohol?
Yes, right this way. You see them get their keyring out and fibble with their keys and head back to this other wall over here where there's another door. Puts the key in the door. I didn't happen to catch your name, patron. I am Quill. Some call me Dr. Quill, but I don't really have any formal education of the matter. I am a very learned individual, though, if I say so myself.
Oh, that's quite an ironic name, or a coincidental name, actually, for someone who works with books. I am Floki the Lost, and these are my compatriots. The big one is Pluroki, the small one is Tulu, the smaller one you didn't see, and the average-sized one is Fagrin.
All right, that's quite the crew we have here. He begins to lead you into this area. Most of what is seen in here is what you would think in a common study. Lots of knickknacks, like small little paperweights and things of that kind of dome the otherwise empty shelves on the walls. This large table with scattered papers seems to be like his main work area. He begins to start pushing it to the side. He pulls out this chest from underneath that has lots of the scribe's book repair type of materials and begins to open it up and get out his implements.
What was his name again?
Quill.
Quill.
And I forgot to mention, he's also clearly a lizard folk.
Ah,
But that's
got,
not in the lore. Oh, I love it. No, nothing. I love it.
Yeah, he's got this long green tail that kind of trimples off, and in fact, Floki, I think as you look about him, you can also tell he does have lots of different tools on him. He has a spyglass very clearly on his hip as well. But he begins to get out his implements, and he's like, "You, please bring forth this rare find you have."
all right. Now I'll very carefully take out Rhonda's book and place it on the table.
All right. He begins to carefully get close and examine it. Takes out some goggles and begins to dial in his goggles and looks over it. Goes, "This is very odd. Where did you find this?"
Well, I think it belongs to a friend of mine who I'm helping translate it. I was attempting to sort of transcribe the translation into a separate book, but I was noticing that I'm just not. The handling was doing significant damage to this book itself. I need an expert. It's quite an arcane tome, one might say. I can't recall the exact location it was picked up, but it's real something. Yeah.
Clearly, it is very arcane. In fact, you can see right here, and he begins to take his like the very tip of his claw, and he just hovers over it, and he says, "You see this line here? This line is never sewn in to books of mundane work. No human, nor dwarf, nor elf has ever made a book with this type of hymn. This hymn is very unusual and bizarre. But a delicate touch I do have." He begins to like pull out this mechanical contraption, slides his hand in, and these little finer mechanical arms come off of it, and then off of those, and even smaller little thin little wires come off of it. And in between this contraption, you see a glimmer of a mage hand come up, but it's like a very different mage hand than normal. It's like a faint green, it almost looks skeletal. And he begins to pry open the book delicately with this large contraption. He kind of like holds it over, and he goes, "She's going to be quite the doozy, I can tell." And he, as soon as he gets it open, this faint black, almost ash-like material starts to come off of it and kind of billow to the floor a bit. And he goes, "Ah, this is why the handling's not doing well. This is a curse. Are you familiar with curses?"
I am a little bit familiar with curses.
Whatever material is in here is not wanting to be read by whoever put it in here. It's very curious.
That's unfortunate. Do you think that the curse is necessary for the constitution of the book, or could the curse be removed and the book still be perfectly fine?
Oh no, the curse is very much a part of it. If you remove the curse, it would remove all the information as well.
All right.
That's the very unsettling, but let me get started. He says, "This might take some time. Feel free to browse, look around, and keep yourselves busy in the meantime." You see him kind of get out these longer pencil-like materials, pencil-like materials, like basically lead. And scribble on some papers aside and like start to take notes. Basically, he starts to make a game plan of how he's going to approach this task. It looks like it's quite the.
All right. Do you
job.
think you can? Do you think you can do it though, Doctor? Can she be saved?
Oh, we will see. If she wants to be saved, she will.
Oh, I would feel a lot better about that statement, and if it didn't sound like she had a will of her own. Well, anywho.
He begins to stop and like put down his tools, and he looks at you and goes, "We never negotiated a price, but maybe it would be best if we discuss before moving forward in case, well, I don't rescue it."
Well, I'd say if you could get me what you can. I'd
Alright.
be willing to call that a satisfactory outcome. I trust in your skills relative to mine, so I think we'll be coming away with this with more than we started.
All right.
Even if we can't salvage all of the information.
He begins to look you up and down and try to tell if you would actually be able to afford his services or not. And he says, "Well, if I do ruin this specimen, I will charge you only half."
I think that sounds perfectly fair. I was actually going to suggest that. That makes sense to me.
Then it's an agreement. Then he begins to continue working on it. In the meantime, what's Tulu doing?
Hulu is cleaning up all the mess that was made in the room, the tankards.
Right.
He's just being a good guy, and he's cleaning stuff up in that room, and he's looking at the books too, as he goes.
Cool. As you are doing that, give me a perception check.
15.
15. As you are cleaning up the materials, you do happen to notice the footprints over where those individuals are standing. One of them is perfectly outlined of footprints that don't move. And there's like this thin black stuff. As you're cleaning up, you start to pick up all these empty tankards. Little mechanical arms fall off of them. You can tell that they were magical, and are now just garbage attached to cans. But you do happen to notice as you're cleaning up that there are a couple boot prints over there. What's
That
favorite?
that aren't moving, or what
No,
do you
like
say?
no, like okay, so it's like when people move, they're walking. They have different weights on the front or the heel of their foot. So like footprints that are moving look different. This looks like boots that were here and didn't move. The person never even shifted their weight from one foot to the other. Just like perfect outline of boot prints that like there's only two individual prints. But yeah, what's Vagrant doing?
Well, we're waiting for him to take a look at this book, right? And we're waiting. So, since we're in a place with a bunch of books, it occurs to me that Divmir in his house in Malsar had books about Wynn and stuff, and Fagrin was able to learn about that, but he doesn't have anything now. So, I'll look for books about Fair Harbors and Wynn and anything related to that. And anything that shows that symbol or any connection to that stuff.
Give me an investigation check.
I'm sorry. You want me to reroll it? I'll fix it.
I mean, I didn't see anything, so you you just go ahead.
I didn't even look at it. I'll just reroll it. It's probably a good check for once. 11. Actually, it was a good check.
With an 11, what you happen to find is you don't see anything about Wynn or Divmir or any of the Fair Harbor houses, but what you do find as you're looking for anything along those lines is you do find a book on the Phantoms, um, and how they were used to help distribute communications throughout the Isles. One of them is basically a logbook of a journalist, and it explains that how they're very curious about how Lucerna has no phantoms, and they think it has to do something with the storms that happen there. But basically, you found a book on phantoms.
All right. Flipping through it, is there any chapter or any notes that might indicate an analysis result or etc.? An analysis?
On what per se?
Why they're... well, you said it's because of the storms.
Yeah, so it like has detailed descriptions about basically this person was obsessed with the birds and followed them different places, and stuff. It turns out that they really don't like warm weather; they prefer it cold, which is bizarre because every isle you've ever known is pretty tropical, except for Wanabe, but that was like a bizarre rarity.
All right.
But yeah, what's Kleroki doing?
He's waiting for a moment to see, to kind of ask about buying the book that he found.
Gotcha. So he's just doing that awkward. I'm gonna stand in the back of this line and wait.
Yeah, and then after he realizes that this is gonna, it's gonna be taking a hot minute, he's gonna like leave and just start, perusing and looking around and finding out what he can find out. See if there's any other interesting books available. Magic books, any kind of books. And it seems interesting to whatever our current goals are. Maybe something about like the history of the city and like these the accords, or not accords, but the Treaty of the Three Isles. See if you can't find any information about that and get to know what that was all about and whatnot.
Okay. Do you speak Dwarvish?
No, I speak Draconic and Common.
Okay, so like when you go to like the area of like city history, most of the books that look like what you're looking for, you pick them up and they're in Dwarvish, sadly, as it is a Dwarvish city. I'll go ahead and give me another investigation check, just to check.
Investigation. Oh dang, that's a 2. I'm used to my wizard who has like a +7 to investigation, and he has
Yeah,
like
yeah, I know what the feeling's
a
like.
+0.
So you're looking around for anything along those lines. What you do happen to notice is there's a book that kind of stands out because it is ornate. It has these almost like bedazzled gems on it, made of pearls. And the front of it, it says Religions of the Mighty Hammer. And you can tell it's a book about kind of like a wiki book about the religions practiced by the dwarves. And it tells you a lot about the god Amok and the god Sai. These dwarvish gods are children of the human gods and the elvish gods. And it kind of tells you a little bit about them. Amok being the lord of stones and fortresses, was really regarded heavily by the dwarves. And the god Sai is the god of the forge, so he's also really popular among dwarves.
Fair enough. Well, I could just kind of guess peruse through that book a little bit, and then, yeah, I'm just kind of waiting, keep myself, looking at the book that I currently have, the herbal book.
All right. As you flip through the religious book, because you say you do look at it.
Yeah.
You notice that it has a picture of the mountain near the city, and the mountain's name is Von Thrull, Vonthrul.
All right. Hold on a second. I'm gonna write that down. And you're gonna have to respell that for me.
Yeah, VONTHRUL, Von Thrull. And it was once regarded as a holy fortress of Amok.
Okay. Cool.
That is what you were able to glean from that book. Back to Tulu. You have successfully cleaned up all of the tankard creatures and kind of got them into a little pile. There's still that liquid everywhere. Do you have any plans for that?
Yeah. I was going to use some water, and try to clean that up too.
Oh, you're gonna actually like start mopping in here?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I meant. Not just just
All
do
right.
the cleaning.
Wow. Give me a, what do I want to call this? I want to call it some type of check. I think we're gonna do this a performance. Actually, yeah, let's do performance.
Performance. 13.
With a 13, you're able to get it all mopped up. You start dusting the areas that have been ignored, and this place looks immaculate. Like this is the best the place has ever been. I imagine Tulu's like, even like as Kluroki's like picking up books and looking at them, Tulu's like taking them out of his hand, like scrubbing them down, like putting them back, and he's like, "Hey, I was looking at that." Figuring, is there anything else you're gonna look for in here?
No, I'll go back and wait for the book to be repaired.
Okay. Floki, did you just like anxiously watch him do this, or were you looking around at different books too?
I wouldn't say that I was anxious about it, but I'm kind of like
Intently watching?
I wouldn't say intently either. I'm just like calm acceptance,
Cool.
taking out my phone, trying to make Tulu's hat on D&D Beyond, failing shockingly.
Cool.
Just like, waiting patiently.
All right. I say probably 2 hours goes by. You guys can take a short rest in here if you want, after your little skedaddle.
I love short rests.
I know you do. I mean, not really like anyone else is hurting too bad, but it's okay. If you want to, you can. If you don't want to, it's fine.
I'll
But
reload my pistols.
all right, that's probably a good thing to do. Eventually, quill stops, and you can wipes the sweat off his brow and goes, "Well, I think I've got it." And he holds it up, and I don't know why I sound like Caver this then, but he did. He goes, "This here is all we could glean from it." He begins to open up. Basically, the pages look like the edges have been charred, but the center has been restored. Basically, you see he sacrificed the edges of the pages to restore the center of the pages, because this is magic and doesn't really make much sense. But like, there would be no mundane way to restore this book. But what he does get is he basically gets the center of every page restored. He goes, usually they would turn out better than this, but this curse is far old. It's a cancer that has grown for too long. I can't do any better than this.
Great. How much of the information was saved? How much was lost?
I'd say probably 50%.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that was about what... I don't think I could have done any better there either. That was about what I was getting. Alright. That's something.
But on the plus side, I have stopped the deterioration from furthering.
Which is excellent. I can now safely work with this. Thank you so much. How much would you say that I would owe you for this?
A mere 200.
200...
Feathers, gold, yes.
Alright, I'll take out 200 gold.
All right, hand him 200 gold. Thank you, thank you. He begins to like nervously. He just remembered that there was a terrible fiasco, and he like looks over, and
Yeah,
he's...
and I would like to... on that note, is this a, like, just out of curiosity, is this a common occurrence? Do you get assailed by alcohol frequently?
No, but butter does cause trouble from time to time. This was a first for a situation like this.
Oh, so that was butter. It wasn't like the people who were here kind of shaking you down earlier, attacking you with beer monsters.
People? What people?
The people that I saw, the weird ones.
There are... I don't know what you mean. It's me and Butter. I had a few patrons in earlier this morning.
Is he lying to me?
You can roll an insight check.
I would love to.
The DC
Let's
is
see. Let's be inspired today. I never use those. All right. What does a 14 get me?
4. You can tell that they are lying, and it's the sense of you have no proof, so I'm just gonna keep with my alibi.
Okay, I'll put up my hands and say, "Oh, I don't mean to like, come at you. If it's something you don't think we could help with, then that's what it is."
Give me a persuasion check. In the meantime, he's gonna look around at Tulu's work and say, and like he just literally he says nothing because he's speechless. He like looks over and he feels the bookshelves are dusted, and he's, what? Who is responsible for this?
Hey, that'd be me. I hope you don't mind. I'm just trying to clean up the mess that those things made. Do you mind? Or are you okay with this? If I need to do a better job, I can try to do a better job. I'm sorry.
This is marvelous. I've always took great pride in the cleanliness of my place, and now it is, why, I think it's the best it's ever been.
Yeah, we happen to be experts at cleaning up messes.
Oh,
Can I negotiate an advantage on that perception check or persuasion check out of that?
no. No, I don't think so. But he does look over. What was your persuasion check, by the way?
I'll tell you in a moment. 7.
A 7. Okay. He looks over at Fagrin and he says, Fagrin, was it?
I didn't give him my name. Wait, no, I did. Yes, I did.
I did. I gave out your name for free.
No, but I did too. Okay. Yes. Yes. It's Fagrin Fair Harbor.
Oh, Fairharbor, the man of Fairharbor House.
Imagine these are your errands then.
No. We're a part of a merchant company together. These are my lieutenants.
Oh, a merchant, a Fairharbor merchant. How curious. He takes out a notebook and tries to discreetly take a note of that and tucks it in his belt, and he says, "Well, your lieutenant here has cleaned my whole shop, and I am grateful for that. Hopefully, we could come to some arrangement. Maybe make this a routine situation."
No. Captain Tulu is a driven and ambitious man, and so he sometimes finds ways to bring kindness and change into the world. It's just a part of who he is, and I smack Tulu on the back.
I'm kind of giving Fagrin kind of a semi-incredulous look, because I know Tulu's very fond of jokes and pranks. So I'm just kind of giving him like the, what are you talking about? Look.
I kind of smile and I say, "Hey, Quill, I hope you like the job I did. And, even though Vagrant, I could probably come back and help sometime, clean some more if you ever need it. If I'm around, if I'm in the area, we don't know where we're going for sure, all that kind of stuff. But I tell you what, Quill, I think I'm looking for some books. If you could help me."
All right. Well, what is it you're looking for?
Well, here's the thing. I'm trying to be the most powerful druid in my guild, in my clan, on my island. And I've heard these books that, I've heard books that can make you smart like wizards, or they can make you wise like clerics, or strong like fighters, or anything like that. You got anything, like, what's your most expensive book here that can help you do something like that?
Well, my most expensive book is the astrology charts that I have in the back. Very, very expensive data to have. Charts of the celestial bodies is something that's pretty rare, but I am afraid that's not what you are looking for. The type of knowledge you are looking for would be over here. And he begins to walk over to this bookshelf over here that has the arcane chains on it. He takes out his wand, which I would like to point out is literally like 2 inches long. Like, it's just this little thin piece of wood, and he gives it a little flick, and the chains kind of just release, and kind of like all drop to the ground. And he opens this compartment on it, kind of like a cabinet door, and he pulls out a little book, like a smaller book, about like a Gideon Bible size book, and he holds it up and goes, "This here is probably the most valuable thing as it comes to physical ferocity, if that is what you mean. I've never heard the term druid, but if you will mean a baraki or caster of the sea, then I have tomes of that nature as well."
Well, how much for the one you're holding and the other ones?
Oh, all of them. Hang on one moment. He begins to collect them all and starts to calculate the prices. And goes, well, that would probably be 830 gold, but you have done me a great service, both in stopping those contraptions and cleaning up afterwards, so I'd say let's make it 280.
Okay. That's easy enough, sure thing. But also there's some other books. I know we're probably looking for some books on history of this place. Like with the houses and different things like that, and the treaties. And do you have some of that history books? I know Kluroki and everybody's kind of wanting some of those books just to learn about the island.
You are merchants, correct?
I look at Favorite.
I look at Fagrin.
I'm afraid I don't know of any treaty or anything along those lines, but city information we have mostly in Dwarvish tomes, I'm afraid. And
Yeah,
if
I kind of realized that.
I do have, he pulls up a book that's quite thin. In fact, it's not even bound in a binder or anything. It's just like, I'd probably say like maybe 50 pages that are bound together with some twine. He goes, I do have this manuscript from the House McCroy. That's all I have in the common tongue.
Take that too.
This is a document on the history of the island.
It's a document on the history of House McCroy, who runs the island. So it's like a lineage and tells you like names and relations between the House of McCroy.
Okay.
We'll take that. And do you have a map of the island too? I didn't know if you had maps here.
I don't have any maps, but I could make an illustration for you for a fee.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right. You see like this grin, this toothy grin from his scaly face as he is making a lot of money from you, Tulu. He says, "Just one moment." And begins to head back and start working on that.
And when he does that, I tell the rest of the group, "Hey guys, if you think of anything else we need, just pipe in. I think we got this. This guy likes us now."
I just want this book. I just hold the
He's
book,
still
the one
holding
that I
the
have.
book.
Yeah.
The herbalism book. He's just like, oh, wait. Oh,
Ouch.
okay, you're gone now.
Why is D&D like real life right now? I don't like it.
I see you take an inspiration for that.
Tulu has learned that you don't need charisma score, you just need gold to get in places in life.
This cat runs up against your leg, Tulu, as you guys wait for him to make an illustration. He comes back. It's like a single piece of paper. Basically, it shows the bay area. He describes how the bay is part of Robin's Lagoon. So Robin's Lagoon is the name of the lagoon of Ukashe. And it basically gives you a detailed map of the docks and a rough draft of the city. And he explains the city is constantly under construction, so I'm afraid if it's not completely up to date. I haven't been up and about to some regions of the town, but this is roughly what you're looking at. And then he gives you, like on the edge of the page, where he almost like he ran out of room. He says there are lots of dwarvish tunnels that go deep into the mountainside. This here is the main keep of House McCroy. They dwell there under the mountain.
Well, thanks, guys. Anything else before we leave? Anything else we're looking for?
I just want to buy this book.
No, I think that'll be everything.
No, I want to buy this book, please.
Oh, of course, of course. I will add it to Tulu's pile here. You can give you the same discount. That would bring everything to a total of 310.
I hand him 310.
How much gold do I now do I now owe Tulu for the book? Since it was added onto Tulu's bill, but I was buying it for myself.
That's up to you.
Well, how much of the okay.
I look at Kuroki and I say, "Don't worry about it, big guy. Just save me sometime. You know, when something's trying to kill me, we'll call it even, okay?"
All right. And then now, like, if we're ever out in the wilds, when we take some downtime, I'd like to peruse and look at the book. And then if we're ever out in the wilds, I'd like to keep an eye out for any of those healing herbs.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so,
make a note of that, so we don't forget that you have that.
and I don't know what all books I have, so sometime when we get back to the ship or
So,
whatever, I'll look and see.
I can tell you what he gave you. He gave you a book that will give you proficiency in athletics and acrobatics. He gave you a book that will let you gain any 4 wizard spells of first level.
Wowza.
That I can cast?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have the book.
Oh,
It would like literally take your whole action to pull it out and like do it. But basically, it's a how to be a wizard, like a wizarding for dummies book. But like it's limited because it's only those 4 spells and that's it. And it
Oh,
doesn't do
Wizarding
anything.
101. Here's
Yeah.
how you start.
It's Wizarding 101, but you don't
Burning
get
spell,
a wizard
burning
class.
hand.
It's just this. Please pay our subscription for further spells.
cool.
Cool. All right, so that's what you get. You also get one more. What was it you asked for? You asked for strength, and you asked for clerical knowledge. So the last thing he gives you is actually a tome, which was the same tome that Kleruki was looking at earlier, and it speaks about the gods of Amok and Sai. It's Dwarvish gods knowledge. So anytime you have a question about that, you have that book of reference.
Okay.
Right. I believe that concludes our bookshop scene. We can move on. Where did you guys like to go next?
There's Augusto, or whatever, Augusto that we still need to look for,
Yep.
and what else do y'all have in mind? Nothing.
I
think
mean,
that-
that's
that was-
all I thought, but unless someone else has something else.
Let's go to the Bauble store then and find Augusto.
All right. Let me consult my map real quick, just see how far away it is. So it's not that far. You guys pass the chapel and the tumbling stump, and you make your way to Bobbles. From the outside looking in, there are tons of these glass and crystal orbs hanging in the windows. As you open the door, you notice that there's a thick shag carpet that is like probably like 4 inches thick and like completely furry and fuzzy. And as you kind of walk through it, your boots like have like the static charge where they're like instantly cleaned as you walk through it. You make your way in. It's a very small shop, but there are a little like all these orbs of various sizes. Some of them like about this big, all the way up to like head-sized ones and like beach ball-sized ones. These orbs of different sizes. And you can see another lizard folk behind the counter who seems to be half asleep looking at some book on his countertop. And just by looking at this guy, you can see there's a lot of age here. He's got this thick gray hair that comes out of his scales on the sides of his head. His horns that come off his head are knotted and kind of twist in a way. And he's got these really thin spectacles that sit at the tip of his nose. And he kind of like sits there like half awake, leaning against his countertop, and he doesn't even happen to notice you guys walk in.
What's the name of the store again?
Bobbles.
Okay. Excuse. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Welcome. Welcome, adventurers, spellcasters, champions, and scholars, heroes of the realms of. Oh, sorry, I thought you were someone else. I am Augusto. Welcome to Bubbles. If there's anything I can get you, please let me know.
It sounds like you could get us some very fine stories.
Stories?
Aye. It sounds like you've had quite the clientele over the years.
Oh, yes. Magical folk, I do draw very interesting patrons. Most of my wares go out to the Ochre Towers.
The Ochre Towers. You
Aye.
mean the candles?
No, not the candles of Lutuna. Here on Ukshe. Be near the western gate.
Aye. Well, have you ever had anyone by the name of... Well, actually, I don't have my notes. Gosh darn it.
I'll look at Fagrin.
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth. Have you ever had a Sephiroth come by the shop?
Shifro.
He begins to like stroke his chin, and he's looking. You can tell that he's trying to look confused, but he's obviously very clearly like examining you and trying to figure out who you are. I'm gonna go have him roll an insight check real fast.
He kind of looks you up and down and goes, maybe. You have to forgive me, old age.
I see.
He referred us to you. He's a mutual friend, he said.
Friend. A friend. Oh, well, a friend. A friend of who?
Sephiroth. And you.
A friend of
He said
Well-
that you were his friend, and we're his friends. And so, a friend of a friend is someone we'd like to not be stabbed by? Question mark face?
Yes, I would like to not be stabbed. That sounds fantastic. I have paid my fee. You
you can see him shuffle behind the counter, and he pulls up this chest. He holds it open. There's probably like 800, 900 gold in it. And he slides it across. He goes,
please, if the syndicate needs more, I can pay. I have done nothing that they have not approved of.
I feel like I apologize, sir. I feel like we're suffering from a critical miscommunication situation at the moment. Allow me to state in like really clear common, I am not here to extort you.
Oh,
real quick, I want Floki to roll me a persuasion check.
Persuasion, I'm doing terribly at that today. Roll away.
Happily.
There we go. Look at that. 24.
Hey.
With a 24, you hear the voice of your patron in the back of your head, and you hear her say, "Step outside now."
Without turning around, I just like backtrack out the door.
All right, you just leave.
Yeah.
As you do, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He puts it away. He doesn't even realize you're leaving. He puts it under the counter and goes,
I thought you were part of the Young Sons.
He like looks for Floki and realizes that he's not there, and he looks to you, Fager, and he goes, "Oh,
how can I help you? We're maybe off to the wrong foot here.
Then we'll cut outside. Floki, as soon as you step outside, you feel this warming sensation coming from your wand, and you hear in your head, "Let me out."
I attempt to figure out how to do that. I'll pick up my wand and sort of point it at the ground next to me and wand it up.
All right, you cast Summon Fae. But when you do it, instead of the Fae figure that came last time, you actually see this figure that you've always seen in your dreams, with hair made of leaves. This lady draped in green with antlers that grow from her head. She turns to you and she stands upright at her like full height. She stands nearly 8 feet tall, and she gleams to you this faint smile before leaping at least 60 feet in the air over the building you're in front of you, and you just hear Key on your shoulder say, "I've never seen her do that before."
Yeah, that's wowza. I'm never prepared for it emotionally, but I feel extra not prepared for whatever just happened.
Do we follow her? Do you want me to stay with you? Do you want me to follow her?
I think this is a situation where it's best to do as asked. And your presence was, I didn't hear her ask for you, but if you think that'd be a good idea, otherwise I'm just kind of inclined to let her do whatever she wanted to do.
Well, I'd rather stay with you if that's okay.
Yeah, I think that sounds like I think that sounds like a plan. And I'll step back into the shop.
Okay.
Did that cost me a spell slot, by the way?
It did.
All right.
As you step back inside, you hear him talking to Bagrin, and he says,
Uh, I haven't seen Sephiroth in ages. So I've forgotten what terms we left our friendship on. But when I saw you folks with your weapons and your armor and your wands and your your general presence, I just assumed you were part of the syndicates, but that's okay. You're here on behalf of Sephiroth, is that correct?
Aye, Sephiroth remembers you and speaks warmly of you. We had a conversation with him. It seems that Sephiroth and us, we have some common goals, but we're not from this island. So, well, we're finding it rather difficult to get started.
Yes, most of the folks here do tend to state themselves, but you've seen the candles of Lucerna. The people of Lucerna are the most notorious for keeping their secrets. I will present all the knowledge I have to offer, and of course, feel free to look at my wares if those are of your interest.
Well, I think that we'd rather get right down to business, if that's okay. You see, Sephiroth spoke that sometime in the past, here in these islands, there was some sort of treaty that bound the islands together. And it's now violated. Other groups have taken over. We'd be very interested to know about this past. How long ago was that? Have you seen this time?
as you say it, you see the veins on his neck begin to fade away, and the hairs on his chin and his cheeks begin to have a little color return to them, and his eyes begin to swell up, and you see him take a deep breath and goes,
I'd almost forgotten all about the treaty. It was probably 412, 413 years ago. It was signed by my great grandfather.
and he pulls out of the rafters this long piece of fabric, and it kind of billows with dust that kind of hits the floor. You can tell that it's been on the rafters for ages, and it begins to shake it off as dust kind of fills the room and almost makes you choke up and gets in your eyes and your nose. And he begins to unfurl it, and he drapes this long thing over. Basically, what this looks like is it looks like a Jolly Roger. It has a skull on it, but the skull is inverted. And it is held upside down with arrows in it. So think of like a quiver of arrows, but the quiver is a skull, and it has this massive key through the side of it, is what it depicts on it. This symbol of Jolly Roger, he goes,
My great great grandfather
Hang on, I have to look up my notes because I'm going to screw up a lot of names here. Uh,
worked for the House of Vagamon, one of the 12 houses, the Free Isles. And he was a mercenary here, and well, he wasn't well deemed by the other 12 houses, but once the treaty was signed, no, we were treated like equals. The symbol of Agumon is no longer what it once was. I'm afraid there are gangsters and rebels out there who now wave this same symbol proudly. If you've already seen it, I'm sorry to say I'm quite ashamed of what it's become. But until you mentioned it,
and he kind of like holds the fabric between his hands and holds it close to his face. He goes,
I had nearly forgotten what colors we used to bear.
and he begins to kind of stow it under the counter.
Sephiroth had also given the impression that things long ago were better here in the Isles, and also seemed to say that people had forgotten this treaty and such, but we weren't able to suss out what the treaty did exactly, or who signed it, or who violated it, or what happened. So any specifics you have would be very interesting to us.
Well, the 12 houses were the ones who signed it. Agumon being one of the 12. House McCroy being another.
He begins to like look off in a 1,000-yard stare as he tries to think. He goes,
Oh, my. The faces I have forgotten. But these are houses, you have to remember. There are families with great wealth and reach. Just because they bear the name, that doesn't mean they remember the treaty they once signed.
Well, why did they create this treaty? What does it do?
Oh, the Treaty of the Free Isles was a simple way to coin the phrase, all waters for all peoples, all lands for all peoples, and all skies for all peoples. It was a way where no one could claim territory and shut anyone else out. It was a dangerous way of living, if you were concerned with that kind of thing, but it was also a fair trade, fair equality, fair economics among all peoples and races and statures and beings. People from beyond the horizon, people from beyond our realm of existence, and it was decent. The candles of Returner, the breath of the earth itself is a gift that the island has hoarded for the last 30 years or so.
The island has what? Wait,
Hoarded.
say what? Hoarded?
yeah, he says that they've hoarded the breath of the earth, which is what the candles emit. And he says,
And now we have the Double Fruits, who House McCroy has deemed his merchandise to be sold. I'm afraid each isle became its own commodity. Added price tags for things that were once shared freely.
I look around to everybody. I'm sorry. You'll have to forgive me. It sounds all nice and all, but to not own anything. Not owning land. Couldn't, there's no way such a place could have existed.
But it did. That was before the Silver Moon Emperor arrived, or Norkazor himself.
All right, well, that goes into my next question. You'll forgive me with, we're not from here, and it's rather hard to believe, not owning anything. But what happened? What happened to the treaty? Who's the Silver Moon Emperor?
Oh, the Silver Moon Emperor is a powerful, brilliant, shimmering star. He's the wielder of the Jarl's Pearl. And Vanthrol is his throne.
That made no sense to me whatsoever. I don't know what any of those things are. Now, I'm a foreigner, you know. I sailed here from the north.
He grabs one of the orbs from behind him, sets it on the counter, and he waves his hand over it. And in front of you depicts brilliant starry sky. As the starlight emits from the orb, it kind of begins to fill the room, and you feel this cool breeze of a night's air come over you. And then he shows you this shining bright pearl. And he says, Jarl's Pearl, the aspect of the sea. And then this vision fades. And then another orb comes and fills the room. This orb is brilliant, bright yellow in color. And when this like vision comes up, there's like this brilliant warmth that fills the room, as if it's like a summer heat. And you feel the warmth that like kind of tickles your tummy, like you just had like really good soup. And he says, Asimiji's gem, aspect of the sky. And it kind of fades. And then a burning red orb fills the room, and he says, and the Eye of Sai. It's 3 orbs. Together, they created a bond. They were the way that the powers were deemed physical. They are the Ember Stones. These Ember Stones, well, they're part of the Mythic Shards. I'm sure you're aware of the way that the gods have blessed us with their bodies. These Mythic Shards. Well, these 3 Ember Stones are the key to the Isles, of the Free Isles.
And
But
this...
then,
Oh, sorry.
but then, when Norkazor arrived, he claimed one of his own. He cast the other one out, and left only one for all of us peoples. And when the 12 houses only had the one, well, they squabbled over it and went to war. A war that lasted nearly 12 years. And then, to end the war, House McCroy created the Allguard, a barrier reef, separating Lambu from the other isles. And ever since then, these past 30 years, everything has been commercialized.
And you said one Ember Stone was left. Which Ember Stone was that?
Well, they say that Jarl's Pearl is still in the possession of old Norkazor. But, little one, I've also heard a rumor that it went down when Tahoa went down. Tahoa, the sunken isle, near Dessa Osa, to the west of here.
So, lot of details. I'm gonna switch metagame for a second here.
All right.
Ember stones are mythic shards. These are not mythic shards that he has.
Very, very specific mythic shards. So mythic shards can be defined by any aspect of magic. Literally, all magic in the Isles is residue mythic shards. So, like, if you hold a mythic shard for a long period of time, before long you become a sorcerer, like an actual sorcerer where magic is pouring out of you, because that's how magic works in this world. So it becomes very diluted when it's broken up and separated and broken up and separated. It's like a physical material magic is basically what it is. They can be reassembled, as that was part of Calhawk's journey, was reassembling the special key that he needed to resurrect his god.
I failed horribly.
I mean, all right, the story is unfinished, so we can still finish that story. He failed in the process of resurrecting Fagrin, so it worked. But these were very, very specific keys. One was banished, one was stolen and kept by this Norkazor guy, and the other one has been lost to time because people fought over it for so long.
Is that the Amaji's gem is the one that was lost?
Yes, MG's gem is the one that's lost, but he thinks it might be. I'm sorry, no, I got this confused. Yeah, so Ural's Pearl is the one that was lost, but Norkazor is the one that stole the star, and that's why he calls him the Silver Moon. So he has the gem, and then Sizai was banished from the Isles.
And you said Euro's Pearl went down to
Went
the
to-
island west of say that whole.
So Tohoa, Tohoa, the Sunken Isle. That's where it went down.
So
And that's to the west.
Yes, to the west of here, near the island of Desaosa. Yes.
So these three stones created a post-scarcity economy using the candles of Lucerna as a gateway to other worlds, where like they could have anything they needed. But someone came in, stole one, and then another was banished, and then they fought for 12 years over the last one, and now it's probably lost too.
Yep.
Okay.
And the only way to stop the war, House McCoy created a barrier reef that divides one of the isles from the others. And that was basically how it ended.
Which isle does it separate?
Lambu.
Is that
Which-
Norkazord's isle?
No. Norkazor says, so from the information from this guy, this is what I meant about a lot of information at one time, but that's what happens when you find the person that you need to find. So what Argusto tells you is that Von Thrall is his throne.
And that's the castle or
That-
dwarvish fortress in the mountain above the
Up-
city.
Above the city. So this is where he is.
Okay.
We know who we need to kill now. No, nothing. All right.
I mean, we could talk to him first, maybe. We could see how that goes. I love the enthusiasm, though. I really love the direction.
I appreciate it a lot. I feel like we're
the
making
direction that
I'll
Kuroki
turn
has
to
gone.
Tulu
in.
and go like, I feel like
I
we're
will
making
say that
progress.
was a lot more Mason than it was Kuroki.
Yeah, we were metagame talking about it, so I mean, I
Yeah.
think
But it still feels like progress to me.
it is fun. I've
Um,
never heard Mason talk like that, so that's nice.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, and so this, so which? Hold on.
Okay.
I'm managing to somehow get lost in space here.
Okay.
Which gem does the Emperor have?
The Emperor is said to have Isimiji's gem.
Okay.
I just
And
spoke earlier.
Ural's Pearl is the one that's lost in the sea.
Yep.
Okay.
And the other one got banished.
And you all know, because Floki told you on the island where we had to spill all our secrets, that he has size eye.
Look
Really?
at Ryan's face. He's like, what?
When did we know? When did we hear about?
I
not
have the
remember that.
MacGuffin. That was like Floki had a lot of secrets going on, and all of it was magic bullshit. And this is one of them.
Oh, because you just mentioned that you had a mythic shard.
Yeah, this is the one.
Okay, you mentioned you had a mythic shard. I didn't connect.
So
the dots to
imagine
that mythic
Brian's
shard.
face there was Floki's face when he hears this guy talking about it. It's like, oh,
I would like to propose something.
We brought it up.
I'd like to propose that, at least for my own sake, we not overanalyze this and go on an adventure to get these things.
Counter argument, the opposite of that.
Yes. Well, that would take a very long time. Yes, we could do that. For example, what immediately comes to mind is how did they use them? Like, we need the power to be able to defend ourselves if we were to find them. We need information, all these sorts of things. And I'm suggesting let's forget all that and go on the adventure.
I mean, that's fine with me.
I mean, that could also be the adventure too. But
Yeah, it sounds like an adventure.
yeah, finding out how all that worked. I mean, that's an adventure too. Like, I mean, I think that the thing is like, basically he explains all this to you just to explain who Norkazor was, because you asked.
Norkazor?
Yep.
I'm sorry.
New
There's a
emperor.
lot of details, so I'm not gonna. I'm gonna, for example, probably just refer to them as 3 Ember Stones or 3 keys for a while, because I don't know what them all.
Yeah, that
Don't call them keys, whatever you do, because then that's gonna get confusing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have done not terrible note keeping.
3 stones.
Because
I'm glad to know that.
because if you call them keys, then it gets confusing because there's Galligan and his keys.
Okay,
And there's
3 stones.
And I have a key, and it's just there's a lot of keys here already.
Okay.
Keys, too many keys.
Yes,
I like
I
how-
suggest
Row key, too many keys.
more swashbuckling and less IRS. And we just not that this has been a problem, but I'm worried it'll be a problem, and I think we should just like go on an adventure to now. If it becomes clear that we need to meet some steps first, because we know where this castle is on this island, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. So, like, we could just, like, literally go to that castle and check it out at this point. Or maybe we can't, but we don't know. But we could try to do that.
Well, we also had the double fruit.
Yeah, and that's related, right? Because if we could untangle House McCroy from some things, we could either find out if they are... Maybe they would reassume their kind of noble seat among the houses and actually do the right thing with the reef and everything else. But, you know, they've started using the fruit as a commodity. Yes, the fruit is important. Yes, I think.
And the farmers, we haven't
Yeah.
visited the farmers on the outskirts of town. But could somebody type up just for all that information right there?
I mean, yeah, it's we can go over this as many times as we need to.
I think you know what I think you should do, Jake. And
What?
I'm not volunteering, but
Okay.
someone brought this up in relation to a game with kids the other day, but I think it works well with adults. I love having like different little things people do in a group, and we could have like a group lore master, and all you got to do in Roll20 is set up the folders, and you set up a handout. I actually started doing this in a different game where someone just gave me a journal, and instead of typing it here, or instead of writing it, I would type it as we went, and then put it off to the side in the game and put it up and retype. And people could see my journal and see my own stuff, you know, because it was shared. But if you allowed someone to edit it, you could allow someone else to be a lore master, which is interesting because they could be wrong, which is fun.
What I was going to suggest is maybe if you wouldn't mind, if you could write up a little like lore doc that is Argusto's account of these shenanigans,
Okay, I can
Does
do
that-
that.
just like all in one place.
Super expansive, but just like the basics.
I can basically take verbatim my notes and give them to you guys.
I mean,
I
that
would
would
not
be
complain.
that
What?
would be the nice. Yeah, that would be really good.
Okay.
You could pin it, Argusto's something, and pin it in the
Monologue.
Sailor's
Yeah,
Codex.
I'm gonna make a Google Doc and then I'll upload it to the.
Oh.
Discord.
I don't know how much we're I don't know how much we're doing like a meta out of game think out loud here.
Oh, we could jump back
But
in.
checking out a sunken isle sounds like swashbuckling fun to me.
Oh yeah, totally. No, yes, that's what kind of.
Like
Yeah.
this sounds not IRS-y to me.
No,
this
yeah.
is like we've got 3 MacGuffins,
Maybe
one of
I'm-
which you already have.
I might
like-
just be saying it for myself because
Mhm.
I was a soldier, so I'm starting to think like, okay, well, here's the things we need to do. And I'm like, that part of my brain, I'm like, brain? No. No.
Here's my thought.
And
Here's my thought.
we're
And
not
this
doing
is kind of like Floki. We do the huddle moment. Here's my thought. There's one of these in the Sunken Isle, right? That sounds like fun. Whatever
Yeah.
that means. I don't know how to interact with that. We should probably find out a way to interact with that. But anyway, here's my thought. We go, we find the Sunken Isle, we do our thing we do where we're really cool, and we get this other one.
yeah.
Bam, that's a majority stake. We're suddenly the biggest gun in the Isles. Thinking too hard after that, not so important. You know? We can figure it out. We can bob and weave.
Once again, very eloquently restated what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. To me, it sounded like you were just, this thing we've gotten into? No. I just want to leave and do my swashbucklings.
No, I'm so sorry. No, I'm saying I don't
Okay.
want to overthink
Alright.
it. I just want to
I
do
think
it.
I think we have an accord. Does
Yeah.
anyone else have thoughts or opinions they would like added to the thoughts and opinions whiteboard? Okay, great.
I think Brian's like, can we just like go see the farmers before we leave though?
We should
We
absolutely
need to do
go-
that anyway. That's
I
like
want to
important.
be
That's part of
attacked
what
by
I
a tree.
will just mention, I like how we just let loose Floki's patron on the city and then just completely ignore
Yeah,
it.
that'll come back eventually.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
We don't know that, right?
We don't know that.
We
but
don't know that.
Floki's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Floki doesn't know that
Patrons
either, if
outside
it
the
helps.
city.
He's just like, whatever that meant.
Yeah. And
He
we're
has
just like,
no
okay, whatever.
information.
That's gonna come back and bite us. I know it is.
All right.
Nah, it'll be great. I know her. We're good friends.
We have five more minutes of in game. If you guys want to do anything else in game before we call it a night, otherwise we can sit here and talk all night.
How
already-
how did the beer monsters taste? You never told us that, and I was really
Oh,
curious.
It was awful. It
Oh.
was,
That's
it was
unfortunate.
clearly,
Okay.
it was clearly
Ew.
it was clearly a chemical construct. Like there was alcohol like elements to it, but it was
It's really disappointing. I was hoping that we just have like a stash of beer monsters we could go through after, but like, nah.
and in fact most of it was already spilled. That was the whole
It's like
purpose. Like they were clearly there
Natty
to
Light. Awful, but with beer-like elements.
I think it's much worse. I would think it would be closer to Windex
Oof.
than so like it was not great.
Ooh.
In fact, like Floki took like a couple acid damage from it. Like it was
Oof.
not good stuff.
I was hoping that once the monster was dead, the magic would go away and it'd be like some real high quality, well aged stuff. But yeah, I
no.
guess that wasn't in the cards.
Now you could go back to the tavern for something like that.
I feel like we owe you what we're gonna do, and instead of you needing to ask like 3 days from now and us being like in the middle
I
of
think
our
we're-
work
I don't
week
know.
and
We're
not
gonna
being
try to
able
go get attacked by trees.
I feel like we
think
should
that's the
like
plan.
literally give you like 3 things right now, or 2
Trees
maybe.
attacked.
We got
my
the
face.
syndicate.
Trees, Sunken Isle.
So we're going to the
That's
farmers,
mostly
right? Farmers.
Farmers.
Okay. And that's dangerous, they keep on telling us.
Yeah.
And so are we.
It's so
And
I
then
can keep y'all alive. That's all. Or I can try and keep y'all alive. That's all the promise.
I changed real
there's
quickly.
like a bunch of stuff we probably ought to do, but like, how can we sum it up? I'm thinking we need to go back and talk to Sephiroth. We need to finish our talk with our Gusto and basically like enlist him in this and try to actually form a
That's an
faction.
interesting- That's an
Kinda.
interesting question. How much we want to tell him about like, I don't know who we should be telling that I have the Eye of Sight, because all of a sudden it went from something where like I'm afraid someone's gonna pickpocket me to everyone here might murder me.
If
for
our
this.
Gusto backstabs us, I'm just gonna kill everyone at that point. I can't trust anyone anymore.
He has 800 gold.
He's so
Apparently, he
cool.
could pay someone to backstab us. I don't think I'm worried about his sword arm though.
Anyways, so I think we ought to like do the stuff in town. I don't know what to encapsulate that is, but you know, talk to Augusto. We got to go do the. We got to talk to Sephiroth again. We need to get something to
Sephiroth
drink
might
because
have
I'm
an
thirsty.
idea how to- Yeah, I need to give it another swing at
Town
Kuroki.
stuff.
And what about this? We never have gone back and talked to the other crew about
And we never talked to the other crew.
what information they gathered.
Wait, what other crew? What do you mean? Oh, you mean
Our
our
crew.
crew. Our crew. Yeah,
The
yeah.
rest of our crew.
That's
What
part of
what other crew are you seeing?
talk to crew Sephiroth. in our gusto.
Wait, do you guys have a gilly bottle to
We have a
communicate
few.
Yeah.
you communicate with your crew specifically? I think Rhonda gave one of you one.
Oh, that's a great question. If I have
You
one,
think
I
it
don't
would
know
be-
it.
I think she probably gave it to Fagrin.
I imagine she gave it to Vagrant too, but I don't remember if she even did. I thought she did.
I thought she gave it to somebody else. I
I
can look
felt
at my
like-
stuff. I
I
have one
felt-
Gilly bottle.
I know you have one that Pike has, and I know Tulu has one for Callus. Trying to think of what other gilly bottles we have that going around that they're tied to. But I thought somebody had one for Rhonda.
Yeah, I feel like someone does. I just don't know who it is.
It's not
It's
me.
probably either Floki or Fagrin. I don't think she would trust either me nor Tulu with it.
Oh, Tulu wasn't there.
Yeah,
He was
Tulu
playing the
game with old Chisel.
Sounds like a Floki thing, but it's not in my notes anywhere. I think.
All right, we'll say you have it, but you left it on the ship.
Oh no.
So is that is that good enough for what we're going to do? Talk to our Gusto, Sephiroth, and the crew,
Yep.
and then go to the farm.
Yep.
And then go murder some trees.
Man, you're all of a sudden real into the murdering. This is
No.
kinda...
He's just like, man, beating up beer cans is fun. Let's go beat up some more stuff.
Yeah, get some bad alcohol
Like,
into
this
this
is-
guy, and he just starts going nuts.
I
Yeah,
knew
like
Like,
keep
it's
some
a
on
lot
hand.
more Mason than it is Kluroki.
I
That
knew
was almost all
rub
Mason.
off on him. Eventually, Tulu's rubbing off on y'all. Just so you know, you want to kill things now, and that's
Oh no,
good.
Mason has always enjoyed,